Welcome to another episode of Right for Education Africa Debate. Here is a recap of last week's edition.
A few questions related to this topic. What could herbs and plants cure that modern medicine cannot? Can traditional medicine be incorporated in modern medicine? What could be the positive
with her own findings or with her traditional herbs, people believe to be healed. But actually, Botswana sometimes debate to say, why does the government not give her a chance to prove herself? Maybe this growing viral.
Me thinking about traditional medicine as if it's something so bad. I remember I mentioned stuff like how it is not dosaged and all of that. So it got me thinking, maybe the problem is not really me. Maybe the problem is how I was, how the knowledge.
Guarantee that if you receive chemotherapy, you're going to be healed of breast cancer. You know what I'm saying? So why don't you also look at the possibility, the potential of combining traditional medicine with conventional medicine? Because there is a lot of untapped pharma.
Was amazing. Now we're exploring how AI is transforming modern businesses. Stay tuned.
Good evening, viewers and listeners. Welcome to another exciting episode of Red Debates, where we dive into real African stories, real issues, and real conversations. Here we unpack the topics that shape our continent, challenge our perspectives, and celebrate the diverse voices that make Africa so powerful. So grab something to drink, settle in, let's get into it, because this is a debate you don't want to miss. So for this week's topic is called, should automated machine learning replace human data scientists in the most analytical decision-making in modern businesses? So basically, this is AI in business. A little bit about this topic. As we live in the digital age, artificial intelligence is more and more gaining traction in our everyday lives, and more specifically in business. Businesses use AI a lot. So machine learning allows the user, in broad, simple terms, allows the user to build and deploy machine learning models without any extensive knowledge in data scientists. So automated machine learning, the examples can be personalized recommendations, customer support chatbots, fraud detection. There's a lot of examples. Now, decision-making. Decision-making is a very important aspect in modern businesses. One must not make any mistakes with regards to that, because whatever decision you make affects the future of your business. So data scientists bring critical thinking, domain expertise, and creativity to complex problems, which are essential for analyzing results and making strategic decisions. Now we are in a digital age. We have AI. There's those questions: will AI take over these decision-making, or will it provide guidance to us to make the right decisions for our businesses and for our employees and for everything and everyone else? So questions about this topic: do you agree or disagree? That's the main one. 2, how does machine learning do in efficiency, accuracy, speed, and limitations? 3rd is, what could be the possible benefits of machine learning? And also, what could be the disadvantages of machine learning in modern businesses? Can AI be used together with human expertise? And then lastly, what is the overall future for AI in business overall? So that is the basic summary of today's debate, and also the questions related to this debate. Ma?
So when reflecting on machine learning, it's more about transformation rather than replacement. Like, in my opinion, like if you're reflecting on machine learning, actually it's the process of automating repetitive tasks. So maybe you have mass data and you don't have time to process this data. So it's about taking a look at this data in a short time in order to make up your mind on some kind of repetitive tasks. But when we're talking about human data analysts, the case goes beyond that. Here we're talking about making sensitive decisions. We're talking about, critical thinking. We're talking about strategic insight. So here it's a little bit different from what AI should do. So here it's about having this kind of cooperation. Like if we have a temptation for maybe repetitive tasks or doing something that's maybe wasting time and maybe needs a lot of people to do, so maybe we can save manpower and do it. Meanwhile, on the other hand, we can save the energy of human data analysts in order to make decisions about, maybe stuff that needs really critical thinking in order to find out what works the best. And I think the clearest example that can be taken in this situation is connected to ethics. Like, if you're not feeding AI with all the rules, all the ethical rules, maybe you're going to be in a real bad situation if it comes to something sensitive and you forget to feed in this data. Like, imagine that you're talking to people of a specific age or you're handling some kind of sensitive data. You, as a human being, you are already programmed to handle this sensitive data. You don't need anyone to remind you about what to say or not to say in specific situations. You don't need someone to tell you what to do or not to do with specific age groups. You know how to do this automatically. Now the question is, can AI do this automatically even if you forget to feed it in? This is a point. And another more, if we're talking about insights, like if we're talking about, having this kind of person who's really aware of all aspects of the situation, maybe with the aid of AI, maybe with up to like 20 to 30%. But this person is capable of making the decision and shouldering the responsibility because, of course, this kind of position comes with responsibility. So if you need to handle accountability, you cannot depend on AI for doing that. You need a human being in order to understand what happened, in order to avoid doing this in the future, in order to understand lots of aspects. So with AI, you cannot do that. Like, you cannot have accountability over an AI program or some kind of AI driven system. You need a human being in order to understand what went wrong in order to improve it in the future. And if you think that someone broke the law or maybe did something wrong that they need to pay the cost of, maybe we can handle this situation in this case. But with AI, you cannot blame it for it.
Yeah, go ahead, Simon.
All right, so I agree with our topic today because of efficiency and speed. Today's world, things move at a fast pace, and time is money. We don't have to waste time that we used to do better things, analyzing data. When we look at um, what data scientists do, they do most like one of the boring tasks, and they charge the most money doing them. And all this can be solved when we employ AutoML to do the jobs. Another point is this cost saving. Hiring a data scientist is not cheap. Like on the average, data scientists cost about 150,000 USD plus the tools and the training and the training that they will need to do the job. But employing AI to do those jobs will be very fast and will be very cheap. Now, let me use a real life business that uses AutoML. Amazon, they use AutoML to like spot shopping trends in real time to help them adjust their prices or suggest items that customers would need even before humans would even know. So all these humans can't do them. So I think AutoML is better. Thank you.
Unati.
Africa as a continent has been accused for many centuries now for a lot of lack, a continent that is seen as dark, a continent that is seen as not have enough power to hold itself and hold its own. Yet this is the very same continent where resources are at. The whole world comes here to take, rape the continent and leave it. The question now is, if we allow artificial intelligence that we did not create as Africans to take over from our own brains and think for us, have we not learned lessons enough when the Europeans and the Americans were thinking for us? Are we now saying we agree to the idea that we're going to allow the world one more time to come and think for us and now use AI to think for us? Where will we end up be? Where will our legacy be 3 generations to come? And the second point is the whole AI system does not only affect the science, it affects the medical world, it affects the education world, it even affects the arts. We've seen recently now where people are claiming to write scripts, claiming to write songs because they use this. Are we going to be authentic enough to our indigenousness? Are we going to be able to heal the pains of the past when we use something that is external of us? These are the questions that I think we need to ponder. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. My favorite is Nicole. According to today's theme or motion, which is actually AI versus human data scientists. Well, first of all, I disagree with the motion and I say it should not actually replace the human data scientists. And my first point is because of it being ethical and legal responsibility. We have to, like in business, we have to know who takes the responsibility. We cannot start blaming a machine because it has done something wrong, because I mean, it's just a machine, so we cannot blame it. So if at all we can't blame it, then we need someone to blame, and not just to blame. What if the machine is not inefficient? For various times we have seen actually AI do some mistakes, and it just gets away with it because we are not going to blame it. I mean, that's AI. I mean, that's machine. So it's just a machine. We can't do anything much about it. So we really need humans, whereby we get to know that this human is inefficient. So we have to recruit efficient humans to actually do the work correctly. My second point is on security and privacy risks. Now, for security and privacy risks, we all know that AI is actually prone to hacking and manipulation. Other than when data is actually kept very safe in the human data hands, it's actually better because I mean there is not going to be hacking. Yeah, and thank you so much.
I heard something like AI can be easily manipulated and the security concern. But I will say this: humans are most likely to be manipulated because aside our emotions, we've seen situations where people are threatened to make certain decisions. It can also happen. And another of our points was why that AI does not have values and intuition. I just think business is black and white. Like values, our intuition should not come to play. We're talking about data, talking about proving facts. We know what should be done. AI know what should be done. So you thinking I can make certain decisions I don't agree with, like on my everyday life, but when it comes to business, it might be right. I may not want to. Okay, now let me just use this analogy. I'm a Christian. My religion frowns against smoking and drinking, but I own a business. I manage a business, a hotel business, and customers want to drink. Making decisions myself, I would say I won't like sell drinks to them because it's against my religion. But I have to kill my values, I have to kill my intuition, I have to kill my morality, because that's business. Those are kind of pit hole that humans will fall into, because they would bring their personal values, personal thoughts into making certain decisions of business. But AI will be quite straight. So that's it for now.
It's like you're saying AI is kind of like, no, like humans kind of can also manipulate the AI systems to their own benefit, or to for greedy purposes. Is
You
like
humans are easily
it's trying to say
manipulated
that.
than we can even manipulate AI. Like we've seen humans are easily manipulated and AI can be manipulated. So you cannot use that as a reason to say we should ditch um, automated learning for making decisions.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we can't think there should be some human element into that. You're working with the AI thing. You should have at least something to be involved, like take some responsibility. Remember, you're working it. So yeah.
All right. I do thank Simon for talking about depending on AI-driven system as being cheaper and faster, which is true, but it comes with some limitations. Like here, if we're talking about Amazon, since he talked about an Amazon system as, you know, a kind of example referring to this case. So if you go through reflections or reviews in Africa when it comes to challenges and concerns, you're going to find infrastructure as one of the big drawbacks that leads to some kind of challenges here. Like if we're talking about the infrastructure of AI driven systems in Africa, here we have a problem with it. So if you're going to run a huge business based on AI driven systems, this is going to be disastrous in some cases, specifically if we're talking about some African countries. So you cannot completely depend on it. And when it comes to cost, actually, this is going to come with extra costs, because imagine that you have a huge system running over AI driven maybe application or something, and suddenly everything falls down. What are you going to do? So are you going to refund, or what are you going to do? Like you have to have a plan B. And in this case, it's going to be costly as well. Meanwhile, if we're talking about um, having access to biased data, actually, this is going to happen with all AI driven systems. Imagine any AI driven system that you depend on, either at work or maybe for other stuff that you do on a daily basis. Are you sure that all data that you have access to are 100% unbiased? Absolutely not. So there is a margin of having some kind of biased data, even if you're dealing with AI, because simply AI systems are created by human beings. And it's depending on data presented by human beings who are somehow can be biased in some cases. So in either cases, you're not going to have this 100%. So if you cannot have access to this 100% unbiased data, why not depending on both? Like AI is good when it comes to repetitive tasks, which is good, which is going to lead to some kind of achievement when it comes to this point. But meanwhile, you cannot say that you're going to depend completely on AI. Maybe this is going to work in some cases, but not in 100% cases, specifically if we're talking about African ones. And finally, when we're talking about skills, actually, if you are going to depend on AI-driven systems, you must have skilled people working for you. So can you guarantee, depending on Africans working for you with all these skills needed in order to drive this AI system without having it to suffer from maybe some blackouts or some kind of, fatal mistakes leading to some kind of loss? So this is also another point that we need to think about. Thank you.
Um, History has been sharing with us the information that as Africans, we've always been leaders of technology, of education. And somehow along the years, we've lost that power because we've all allowed our consciousness to be colonized deeply. Now, here we are finding ourselves in this juncture where we have to choose between ourselves and a technology that, unfortunately, when it was built, we as Africans and our systems were not part of it. Question then is, if we allow ourselves to continue with it, how are we going to continue it? How do we think we can manipulate it to suit our needs, our culture? Culture does not necessarily mean religion. You can be a Christian, you can be Islam, you can be anything that you are. But when you are African, we all know our Ubuntu system that we live under, the we community. We never an I or individualistic culture. And we really need to keep that culture for development purposes, because umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. Isandla sigeze sinye. So the question for me still is, if we adopt the system of AI, have we empowered ourselves enough in that we should not allow ourselves to be manipulated one more time by anyone coming from outside the continent for our own development and our own movement within the AI system? How equipped are we in that space? I know a lot of people who want to go and learn from Europe, but are we learning from each other? Are we learning from our villages? Are we learning from our mountains and rivers, so that all of this comes together for us and for us alone? Because Africa needs that. The fear for me is that the more we allow others to dictate to us how we should do business, how we should interact with each other, is the more poverty this continent is going to go into. And so we need to be diligent when it comes to, we are that generation that I think we are called to make all the amends and the mistakes of our ancestors. And hopefully we can make choices that when we are at an older age and we look back and we say, we've made progress. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just before you speak, Simon, what Unati said, izandla zagezana, means one hand washes the other. So it's kind of like saying, if you help me, I'll help you, you know. So this, it kind of says that basically AI will help you, you give AI the things that it needs so that both of you can work together. So yeah. Okay, Simon, you wanted to speak on what Unati said? No
No,
technical.
permit me to answer a question of asked earlier. Someone said, why should Africans trust AI created by the whites and ignore our own brains? AI is not white owned, neither is it African owned, because you've seen Africans who are active in the fight, in the creation of AI tools that will help better human life. And this is another point. And a hammer created in Germany or a car created in Germany won't think like a German. It will do what it has been taxed to do, not what the Germans want it to do. Now, AI are not cultural agents. They're not here to help us preserve our culture. They are mathematical functions. They learn from the data we feed it. So if we give AI prompts, data, it would not advise us to do things that are counterproductive, or things that are against our culture. It will give us results that are in line to what we want. And another is this. You can see in Kenya they are championing AI. Like they're one of the African countries that are doing great things in the world of AI. They have a tool called M-Pesa. It's used to detect fraud. So if all African countries, all African businesses employ this AI, like it would help do what they want it to do, because business problems are universal. Business around the world face fraud issues. Business around the world face almost the same issue everywhere. There are very few problems that are very peculiar to a business in a certain region. Like the problem a business will face in Europe is most likely the same problem a business will face in Africa. So, and this is not the competition. This is not why should we use it because the whites are using it. The whites are unarguably they are enhanced. They have better tools. They have better resources to create this kind of stuff. So what we have to do to make our life better is use them, because if we saying because it's not African created, we can't use them, would keep lagging behind. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I agree with that one personally, because the problems that are faced in modern businesses is in everyone problem, whether you're in Europe, Asia, Africa, these problems exist everywhere. And since we're in a digital age, we need to adapt and we need to bring in AI more. But the question is, should we allow AI to what's this thing? Take over everything without us there, or we should maybe just give us an assistance in a way. So yeah. Let's go with Nicole Tebuho Soreti.
Thank you so much. I agree with Matthew's point of history. You see, we're not just going to jump out of the blue and then we start saying we're going to use machines, because before the machines came, wasn't business actually thriving? Oh yes, it was. So before we actually forget the humans and then we be like the machines should actually replace the human data scientists, we should think about where the human data scientists came from, right from behind. Now, replying to what Simon said, you said the humans can actually be manipulated. Yes, that's true. But then I want to tell you that the manipulation is not the same to a certain extent, because manipulating the AI system is actually to an 80% rate, and then to the human part it's like 20%, because all I need to do with the AI is actually get a password. I don't need anything else. I just have to get a password. I can hack it and it doesn't take me time. However, with the human system, you have to go through processes before you actually access that data, and by the time you actually access it, you would have gone through a lot of processes. Now, you spoke about intuition. You said you don't need intuition in business and all that. I'm going to pose a question to you and ask you, imagine you're in a meeting and you're with investors and you have to actually convince them, you're in a business meeting, you have to actually convince them to actually buy your product or maybe like purchase something. Are you really going to use that machine to convince the investors for you? I thought we need we need we need natural judgment. We need to show the investors that we know what we are doing. We really need this deal. Are we really going to bring machines to the table to do this for us? Of course we're not going to bring that, because they do not have these values. They cannot express themselves the way we want actually human data to be seen out there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Personally, to answer you, no. I think AI cannot pitch a business idea to investors. It needs that human touch. It needs that human value into it. AI can help with creating the charts and the data, but actually closing the deal, it needs a human. It needs that humanly expertise, I should say. So yeah. Tebuho Soreti Dokas.
Okay, I would like to support the motion. I would like to agree with the motion, and I would like to look at the African perspective and then the focus on the business perspective. Now, the African perspective, the spiritual dimension of AI is this: African metaphysics teaches us that all tools, from drums to forges, they carry the spirit of their makers. And if algorithms are created with the integrity and the fairness and the desire to uplift, then automation carries that spirit. AI in this slide becomes not a threat, but rather a mirror of our collective will in the spiritual aspect of Africanism. And then we should reframe replacement. Machines are like the next generation of apprentices. We know, like in Africa, we look at, in African pedagogy, knowledge flows from elder to apprentice, from generation to generation. So similarly, automated machine learning replaces the data scientist, as in the African sense, to say that the apprentice now carries the knowledge of the elder forward. And then in the text of objectivity and truth setting, in African moral philosophy, truth is mat ubuntu itutu is not just a factual correctness, but a moral balance. Logic, impartiality, we strive forward. Decisions should be grounded in consistent principles rather than personal bias, whereby human beings can be swayed by status, tribe, or emotion. There is objective fairness through neutrality. So it's in Africa, in African ancestry, we believe in integrity and objectivity and truth seeking. Not because you are my tribe person or you are because of my status, I'm the chief or what, but it is objective. AI is objective. Basically, AI can, dissect complex models whereby the human mind can be limited because of time, fatigue, or speed. So complex analytics can be done by AI whereby human principles fail. And thank you so much. That's all I had.
Thank you. Soreti, Dorcas, Simon, Mawa.
So I want to answer a question. They said why should we do things because the Europeans are doing it. So now this is it. What's the blueprint for a productive society? What's the blueprint for a good business? They are mostly European businesses. Who do African leaders go to for ideas to make their nations better? Europeans. Who the Africans employ to lead good businesses and global businesses? The expatriates from European nations. So now why should we now say we should do our own thing? Why should we draw the line here? What is the definition of a successful African? If an African can conquer the European market, we see them as successful. Now, so why can't we just employ what they're doing there and bring them to Africa to make Africa better? We now want to do our own things because we feel we're Africans. We must not follow whatever they do. Another point is this: they said AI is easily manipulated, but that's very wrong. All AI systems have a certain level of security that would help prevent fraud and everything. And AI would easily detect fraud. And AI is garbage in, garbage out. Just like your typical computer, whatever you give it to, it will give you back. So the only thing that could happen is humans manipulating the data. So if your data is right and free from manipulation by humans, your results will be free from errors also. So I don't think we should sideline AI because it's easily manipulated or because it's European made. We get almost everything we use in Africa now from Europe. The cars, Europeans. The airplane, Europeans. Network data. The app we're also using now for this call is created by Europeans. So why should we not employ what they're doing there for their businesses and bring to Africa to make our business better? Is there any African business that is doing better than European business? When we look at global businesses that are doing very well, European businesses, what are they doing differently? That's what we should be talking about. And we should employ it to make our businesses also better. Not saying because they are white, because their skin color is different, because the way they speak is different, because the way they think is different. Business is business. And emotion, ethics, culture should not intertwine with business. Business is based on facts, it's based on data. Thank you.
I agree with that. Business is based on facts and data, nothing to do with your race or your culture. It's just business, basically. So yeah. Soreti, Dorcas, Mawa. Okay. Let's go with Dorcas.
I believe we live in a global world, and we can't deny the fact that no matter how we defend Africa, no matter how we defend our continent, as much as we try to be patriotic citizens in our own right, we can't deny the fact that no matter the circumstance, we are going to be, if I'm to put that word or use it, be forced. We are going to be forced to admit that some things we are limited as a continent. And I'm shocked we are the same people who go to the world, the European, UK, and everything to source out for jobs and everything. And if we are limited to the so-called African perspective, then we are losing it somewhere. That's why when we go there, as much as we know English, we are forced to do the TFLs and everything. It's the same thing. We want to do the things our way. Let's move with the times, if I'm to put it that way. Um, as much as I support this perspective of data science being in place, I would say also it also promotes laziness. Um, people creativity is killed on the way because the brain is not working. It's relying on a so-called a system or a machine. Where is our mind working there? We are just being fed on information. And in a nutshell, let's do a multi incorporation of the two. Let the people be in place and let the system be in place. Let's not replace the other. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mawa?
About the human impact, of depending on AI driven systems. So here, if we're talking about job displacement, for example, like if you listen to some people involved in AI system, you're going to listen to some kind of risks that can jeopardize the future of humanity, maybe within the upcoming 5 years. And the major reason for these risks is depending on AI. Like here, if we're talking about, automation. So automation is good. It can be cheaper. It can enhance the workflow. Maybe it's going to improve productivity. But on the other hand, we are jeopardizing the future of human beings because many people are not going to be able to find jobs. So this is going to come with a cost, because this means, more chaos, maybe, starvation, who knows. So there are consequences. So if we think that we are depending on something cheaper, something faster, something that's doing the job better, we should be also ready for the consequences. Like what's going to happen after that, and is it going to be costly? Like maybe all the money that we're saving now is going to be cost later. So this is something that we need to depend on. Also, if you're talking about creativity, like we think that AI has wisdom, creativity, so on so, but we forget that AI is depending on the information and data presented by human beings as well. So if you think about it, like you have data represented in, creativity of millions of people and wisdom of millions of people just existing in one place. So what about replacing this AI driven system with real human beings interacting in one place? So even if we're going to have smaller circles, even if we're going to have a fewer number of people just depending on each other in order to come up with some creative ideas, this is going to be much better than AI. By the way, AI can give you reasons for coming up with some kind of solutions. Maybe it's going to give you the background of a decision that's made. It can present you whatever information that you're looking for. But the question is, how accurate is it? Like when dealing with human beings, you have your own sensor to depend on. Maybe you can see that it's working, maybe it's not. Maybe you're going to try, maybe you're going to fail, maybe you're going to find out a way out of this situation if you have some kind of problem emerging. But if you depending on AI solely and thinking that it's like 100% accurate and giving you everything you need, I think this is killing everything. This is killing wisdom and creativity. And just a slight comment here on the side. When we're talking about business, it's not all the time about business, by the way. Like, think about it. Think about everything that you're doing in your life. At least you have like 10 to 15% the margin of feelings interfering with your decision. Sometimes it's for the good, sometimes it's for the bad. Like if we're talking rationally about doing stuff, this is sometimes good. But on the other hand, sometimes it's not that good. Oh, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mawa. In the chat box, Nicole says she's on the disagreeing part, which with regards to transparency and accountability. So automated machine learning often operates as a black box. It gives results, but doesn't explain how it reached them. In business, that's dangerous because decision makers need to understand and justify every conclusion made from data. That is very true because Where so let's say let's say there's an AI chatbot and and the manager asks how to increase sales, and then it gives off all of these options. I think with that, even though AI gives you all the options, you have to make the final decision. You have to say, okay, so here are the available reasons. Okay, I need to critically think about them. Like, okay, what do they mean? Like, use your head in a way, not only rely on AI. Because I think most of us, we tend to rely on AI too much, and we forget about our gut feeling. Go with your gut, go with your creativity. So we always rely on AI's answer. Whereas, why do you not um challenge this AI reasoning? Like, why would it say that? Why would it give these reasons? So yeah, and then George asks, maybe if I may ask, who created AI? That's a question we have to find out. I honestly don't know who created AI. I think that's a question everyone asks. Who was the first person who created AI? So yeah. Okay, guys, we have now come to the portion of the session where we do concluding thoughts. So what are your concluding thoughts with regards to this topic? Can AI be in business? Is there a future for AI in business? Are we already in there, or we're just asking too many questions? Let's just go with it. So yeah, those are the concluding thoughts. Please keep it short and brief and straight to the point. Okay, so Nicole says in her concluding thoughts is automated machine learning should support, not replace, human data scientists. Without human judgment, ethics, and understanding, business decisions lose their soul, their balance, and their direction. Good thoughts there. Thank you, Nicole. Then for me, my concluding thoughts on this topic: no, it should not. AI should not replace data scientists, because AI, there's still some things that needs to be figured out with regards to AI. AI cannot do everything for us. We need to use our brains. We need to use our brains more. We cannot rely on AI, and especially in business, because business is our livelihood. Business is a way we make a living and get get money, I should say. So and every decision that we make for the business is crucial. We cannot always rely on it. Sure, we can use it for data, for reasoning, for maybe checking our niche. Sure, that can be fine. But overall, we need to just assess whatever that AI is, so that it doesn't make mistakes for us. But also, we should make sure that the data that we put in these AI models is accurate and true. Because if we do that, then the data that the AI will give us back is true and accurate. So that the business does not go down, employees are not displaced, and also the business can grow. With regards to the employees, it shouldn't replace the employees. A business still needs that human touch. That will never go wrong. You can never go wrong with the human touch. You need that human touch to make it grow. And it shows like this, like it's a thing of, we have something these robots and AI do not have. We have emotions, we have like experience, we've got a brain, for Pete's sakes. Like, let's use it. Let's think for ourselves, not always rely on AI. So yeah, those are my concluding thoughts.
End this session, I want to say, AI won't steal our creativity. AI won't steal our hearts. AI will just make our businesses better, make to run a business cheaper, to run a business more affordable to everyone. Not everyone can employ a data scientist, but everyone can easily access AI tools that will make their businesses better. There's certain AI AutoML tools that every African business, if a seller on the street, a farmer can employ to make their businesses better and more productive. They can use Google AutoML They can use H2O driverless AI, they can use IQ, they can use like several AI tools are everywhere accessible to us. We should not, because of say we're Africans, want to maintain our culture, keep this new updates aside. Businesses are leaving European businesses are leaving African businesses behind. For us to reach, for us to get to them, for us to step up, we have to employ whatever they are employing to make our businesses better. I know we are scared that we lose our creativity, then people go jobless, but let's also think how many businesses will be more successful, how much more we can make when we let AI do things for us. It will reduce costs. It will reduce cost. Data scientists are very expensive. A farmer just running a small scale farm business cannot employ um a data scientist, but everyone can afford AutoML tools. They are cheap. We should also not lose this new trend. We should employ it, and I think our businesses will do better, and hopefully we can match up with Europeans. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Unati in the chat box says, for her concluding thoughts, we're running a risk of losing our soul. As Africans, we've been at the lowest of the food chain and we've allowed ourselves to be over-influenced by others. We need to reconnect with our soul in business decisions we make, whether those are medical businesses, educational businesses, or art businesses. Business is not only government or corporate, I hope. Life is business in general. Our soul should finally matter to us first. If we do not believe in ourselves, no one will do it. No one will do it for us. Yes.
Yeah, I think Sifu, you were asking about the person who invented AI. Actually, there is no specific person, like it's like a cumulative work of several scientists. But John McCarthy was the first person who coined the term AI, artificial intelligence, and was the first one working on programming it. Now back to my concluding thought on the topic today. I think we should think about AI as something neutral. It can be similar to anything that we use in our lives. Like maybe you can use a knife to cut stuff, or maybe to do something harmful. So if you want to use it for your good, you can. And also you can use it in order to do something harmful. So now the question is how you're going to use it. It can work for us and it can work against us. So it's about us deciding what to do with it. So if we can have this kind of control over what's going on with AI and taking it as a companion, as you said, meanwhile learning from it, like, to use it for our good and to have this kind of ability to adapt to the new situation based on the skills needed in order to run in different fields. Meanwhile, it should be something that we should aware of. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Teboho?
Hi, yes. So I just wanted to say, sorry about that, my lighting is a bit poor. So anyway, I just wanted to say, you know what, in the African imagination, knowledge has never been still. It moves like the river, carrying memory, spirit, and renewal. The drum once carried messages across kingdoms. Now algorithms carry signals across the world. If we understand automation through the lens of Ubuntu, we see not the cold machine as replacement, but the unfolding of collective intelligence, a new rhythm of collaboration between human intention and artificial precision. The machine becomes our apprentice, our mirror, and our memory, extending our reach into dimensions we cannot yet grasp. In this sense, embracing automated machine learning is not surrendering to technology, but it is fulfilling Africa's oldest philosophical insight that intelligence is communal. It's all about community and communication shared from generation to generation. That knowledge is living, and that wisdom, which we value as Africans, grows when it is shared across time and form. So in the end, it is not the end of human insight. It is transformation, the moment where our tools finally begin to think with us, not for us, but rather with us. They're not replacing us, because at the end, in a job setup, you're going to need someone to operate AI. So it's not going to replace human work. So it's a partnership. So machines, they're going to think with us, not for us. So when Africa, which has been guided by ancestral wisdom, we are reminded that even in the world of automation, the soul of humanity must remain the source of code. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to Dorcas and then, no, let's go to Soreti. We're going to end with you, Dorcas. Hello, Soreti, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I just heard all the thoughts and ideas, but my point is, actually, we can once again need to be readdress the issue of unemployment, because of the fact that when we say about AI assistance, we just talk about the issue of like Ethiopia and again whole Africa. uh, As per my understanding, there is an issue of unemployment rates. So we must be take into consideration those issues. Also, we must balance those things, because let's say, for example, in my country, there is many graduates use from different universities. So when we consider AI and business sectors, again, in line, or we must be we must be taking into consideration the issue of unemployment. Uh, this means that AI have much more benefits, like boosting productivity, with regard to innovation, especially agriculture and healthcare issues. There is a magnificent benefits. But my point is that we must take a balanced issue with unemployment rates. That's it. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Dorcas, please close us off.
Okay, good evening once again. My thought is there's one late singer or artist of Botswana who said, "It's not about me, it's about the people." And this is the people. The me here is about. It's not about Africa, and the people here is the globe. It's at large. We let's not divide ourselves. Divided we fall. Remember, let's come together as one. We are the world. That's why we have Miss Universe. That's why we have Miss World. That is to try and bring us together. And now let's incorporate the two to be able to work for us, to make life easier for everyone. No matter how we shun our brains to the African perspective, we'll never ever prosper as a continent, as long as we are shunning our brains to the one-sided story. Rather, let's come together as one and live a peaceful world. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so lastly, from me again, for my concluding thoughts on this, basically, they should be, when working with these AI tools and AI models, there should be like a list of ethics, a list of what it can do and what it cannot do. That's limitations, sorry. Yeah, there should be limitations about what this AI model can do and what it can't do. It cannot do everything. There must be a limitation that this AI model can do 1, 2, 3, but it can't do 4, 5, and 6, you know? And then also, yeah, the AI prone to hacking and privacy issues. Again, there's AI for that, you know. AI can help AI, but it needs that human touch also to make sure that the AI, both AIs do not destroy the business, do not destroy you as a person. So yeah, that is my thoughts. Okay, Simon, and we are closing off. Simon?
Okay, so just add to what you said. AI won't make Africa lose its soul, or that it will help us become better. We are not smarter than AI. We are not faster than AI. AI will analyze data faster than humans will do, and cheaper than humans will do. So we should employ AI into making our businesses better. I think Africa businesses would meet up with global standards. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good luck in the chat says fear is the problem we have in Africa. Yeah, definitely. If we conquer that fear of AI in this context, then we can do anything. We shouldn't fear AI. Remember, we are living in a digital age where AI is everywhere. AI is everywhere on our phones, on our laptops. We're basically using an AI model right now, you know. So we should not let that fear of, oh, what if AI does this? What if this model does that? We cannot do that. There are ways we can learn and we can teach each other about machine learning. We don't have to be in the dark about this. We shouldn't be fearful about this, you know. We should take it on head on, and also because the Europeans are doing it, why can't we? You know, what's stopping us? If it's fear, then no, we should leave that fear. So yeah. Okay, so we have come to the end of our session. Thank you all for joining in. This has been a very insightful session today with all the different perspectives and insights and examples. This has been really good, and I hope to see you all next week.